And so your work is typically, I mean, institutional, I would
Right.
say,
Yeah.
and it's the kind of client that probably wants to get in this process. It's going to be a little bit more sustained because, I mean, the work, it has an intensity. Everything is sort of developed and detailed. It's not like a formulaic in any way. It
Yeah.
seems that it takes time.
Yeah.
That process is going to take time, and they enter into that knowing that.
Well, they do. They don't always understand how much trouble will be.
Oh.
But as Pete, who was in the video, said, you know, we never stop designing. And I think, but on the same time, we want to stay with the project after it's done and feel like, you know, there are inevitably errors. So we want to be part of resolving those errors.
But I also think we're very practical. So, I mean, I think there is this desire to keep on designing, which is kind of like the way you are in school, but I think we're also very practical, so it's always a sort of balance between the two.
And as the client gets to know the project better, or the contractor, there are practical decisions we made that are not practical, and it's fantastic if we can modify them.
So how has it changed things now that you're doing this enormous project in Mumbai, right? It's a different scale.
Yeah.
It's in another country, though you've done that before, but it's probably a very different way of working from what I understand.
Yeah.
How has that experience been?
Well,
Are you able to exert that same level of control that it seems that you
I
need?
think we have. I mean, they came to us and said, look, this is an important project. We need to start construction in 1 year. Well, it's now 10 years. And there are 2,000 people working there, and they're happy, and we're doing another phase and another phase, but it's gone much more slowly than they expected. I would like to blame them.
Okay.
They certainly should be blaming us, because it's been a partnership in trying to get the right solution and do it in a way that feels as if it's embedded in the culture and the place of Mumbai.
And just so if you don't know, I mean, this is a project, maybe just give a brief overview. It's an office complex, right?
It's really a sort of campus for writing software, but I'd like to say I don't know that we need to be a global firm, and you know, we don't really have that many projects, 3 projects, that are outside of the United States, and
That's enough?
I think
It
it's
could be enough.
Yeah, and I think that it's been a fantastic experience. One I would never give up, just like my first marriage, my first set of kids. But you also realize maybe I didn't need to marry that person. Maybe I don't need to go there. I mean, there's so much in America, in the U.S., nearby that is to be done. And actually, I think that the possibilities in architecture today, and I really see a changing scene for architecture, are extremely exciting. I mean, for the first time, I really feel like, you know, the U.S. is thinking about the environment in a really deep and profound way, and frankly, in terms of thinking about collaborating, not being a kind of signature architect that slaps their monogram on top of a project and sees it built.
it's like, careful.
Like who?
Just be careful.
Careful of what?
Well, what you say. That's my
She's
job.
reflective, he charges ahead. Yeah.
There's no one here in this complex.
Nobody's
like
here.
That.
There's only 16,000 people here this year, so don't worry, no one will
No,
talk.
but everyone needs to do their own thing. It's just that I actually am very excited because historically this is a collaborative work. Architects, before they were architects, were really synonymous with the builder and the client. And I think it's really exciting to think that we can embed ourselves more deeply in the fabric of architecture, from interiors to infrastructure.
And also to really respect and embrace the hands of the makers, because I think when we talk about the firm award, we talk about the people in our studio, but really I wish we could also include the people who've made the work that we are designing, because we learn so much from them and really deeply, deeply respect them.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, I think you would probably all agree, I mean, in terms of architect, I mean, William Tsien to me sort of embodies that. I mean, I think a lot of architects these days are doing the design and the production drawings are going someplace else or being shipped off in another place, and the work has a veneer, a certain kind of exterior quality that's kind of very fast and immediate, but your work is not like that at all. I think it's really more slowly unfolding, and then you look and you see, wow, look at the handrail. I mean, it has that quality to it, which I think everyone appreciates.
Well, and it's the way we loved working over these years, and why it's particularly special to get the firm award, because it isn't just Billie and me. And it goes on, and a client is as much a creator as we are.
Yeah, it's really not the two of us, it's everybody. It's really
we
four.
try to send our values out into the world, to the client, to the people in the studio, to the people who work with us, and recognize that every single person who does good work in the project's life lives in that project. And we believe that as deeply as anything.
So one last question for me. So maybe there's more and more opportunities. Do you ever envision growing past 20, 25, 30, satellite offices, any of that kind of stuff? No. This is the right size.
Yeah, we will stuff the office. We might have more people, but we won't have a satellite. We won't outgrow the space. We own it, and it's like home. In fact, we had a 30-year mortgage on a residential. We own the space. We're about done. But I couldn't get any kind of mortgage before, so we called it a residential mortgage, and I tried to refinance that
As a house.
and convince everyone that it was still our house. We actually had
30 children.
Yeah,
Right. Our
it didn't
kids.
work, but that's a done deal, and so we're happy with working within that frame.
Well, I appreciate both of you for taking the time. Congratulations again on the 2013 AIA Firm Award. Very well deserved. Todd Williams, Billie Tsien. Thank you
Thank you,
both.
Stephen.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Steve.